I trained under the same roof Bruce had years before he left for America. I understood the language of Wing Chun, the silent rules, the respect system, and the weight behind unexpected visits. So when an elderly master from Hong Kong arrived without notice, asking for Bruce, I knew immediately this wasn't social. This was confrontation. The man looked fragile to anyone unfamiliar with real martial artists. Thin frame, narrow shoulders, easily in his 70s. But his posture was upright, and his hands told a different story. Thick joints, hardened knuckles, tendons standing out like cables from decades of wooden dummy training and structural conditioning. His name was Sifu Tom, a senior figure among the traditional Wing Chun families. He wasn't a public teacher, didn't run commercial schools, and never chased fame. But within old circles, his reputation was built on discipline and purity of technique. He had trained under one of Ip Man's senior brothers, back when Wing Chun was learned quietly through endless repetition rather than advertised. When Tom looked at someone, it wasn't with anger. It was assessment, like deciding if correction was even necessary. Bruce was correcting a student when Tom entered. Bruce noticed him instantly, but finished the drill calmly before stepping forward and bowing. Tom returned the gesture with the smallest nod. Then he spoke plainly, his English rough, but his meaning sharp. "You betrayed traditional Wing Chun." Not accusation, declaration. Bruce didn't react emotionally. He held the old man's gaze and answered, "I didn't betray it. I outgrew it." The room shifted. Tom didn't argue. He walked slowly around the school, hands behind his back, examining the heavy bags, the gloves, the mixed group of students, the open training space. He tapped the heavy bag once with his knuckles and turned back. "You teach speed, power, winning," he said. "But do you teach listening?" Bruce replied that listening was essential, but without expression it led nowhere. Tom's mouth tightened slightly, almost a smile. "Then we listen together," he said. "Chi Sao, no talking." Everyone stepped aside. Chi Sao wasn't fighting, it was sensitivity training, where pressure revealed balance, intention, and structure. You couldn't fake it. Ego showed immediately. Bruce nodded. They raised their arms and made light contact, wrists touching, elbows hovering in position. At first, their movement was slow, smooth circular rolling that looked simple to outsiders, but carried intense awareness beneath it. Tom's pressure was constant and precise, never wasted. Bruce's touch was lighter, more elastic, yielding rather than resisting. After half a minute, Tom subtly shifted forward, testing Bruce's center line. Bruce redirected cleanly, maintaining structure, textbook Wing Chun, but then adjusted into a new angle that wasn't traditional. Tom felt it immediately and pressed harder. The pace increased. Their arms flowed through rapid transitions, bong into lap, tan into fook, pressure answered by redirection, a continuous conversation through contact. Tom wasn't trying to overpower Bruce. He was feeling where classical Wing Chun ended and Bruce's evolution began. 2 minutes in, Tom bridged forward with both arms to collapse Bruce's frame, a move meant to force retreat. Instead, Bruce sank his weight, rotated his hips, and redirected both arms outward in one smooth circular motion,
blending centerline theory with fluid movement. It wasn't traditional, but it was flawless. Tom stepped back, breathing heavier now, curiosity replacing judgment.
Tam studied Bruce and tapped him lightly on the chest. "Your root is still strong," he said in Cantonese, "but your branches grow in unfamiliar ways." Bruce replied that rigid trees snap in storms, while flexible ones survive. Tam asked him to demonstrate. Bruce shifted into a lower, freer stance, not square Wing Chun structure, but something built for movement. "Attack me," he said simply. Tam hesitated, reading him, then stepped forward with a straight punch, fast, clean, controlled. Bruce slipped inches off the line, redirected the arm in a sweeping motion, and tapped Tam's ribs in the same flow. It happened instantly. Tam froze, eyes fixed on the opening Bruce had created. He stepped back slowly, breathing deeply, thinking. He circled Bruce in silence, processing what he had felt. Tam said Bruce now moved like water, adaptable and flowing, but questioned loyalty to origin. Bruce answered that water also shaped the land through persistence and intelligence. Tam warned that rivers could destroy. Bruce replied that destruction came only when purpose was lost. After a long pause, Tam asked Bruce to show pure Wing Chun, no evolution, no changes. Bruce stepped forward into classical stance and moved with complete precision. Clean chain punches, sharp pivots, perfect angles, traditional deflections, low kicks exactly as taught. Every motion reflected disciplined lineage training. When he finished, Tam rose slowly and placed a hand on Bruce's shoulder. "You have not forgotten," he said quietly. "You still carry it." He spoke of how Ip Man had once been criticized for changing how Wing Chun was taught, yet saved the art by adapting it. Innovation, he said, wasn't abandonment, it was survival. Then Tam raised his arms again for Chi Sao, this time without challenge. "Show me your way now." They connected again, but the energy was different, cooperative, exploratory. Bruce flowed through unconventional angles, mobile footwork, shifting levels, blending structure with freedom. Tam followed attentively, learning instead of resisting. Bruce redirected using shoulders, elbows, and body rotation, sometimes bending traditional lines while keeping core principles intact. They moved continuously for several minutes until both stepped back naturally, breathing heavier but calm. Tam looked down at his hands slowly. "You are not betraying Wing Chun," he said. "You are forcing it to grow." Bruce released a long breath. They sat quietly afterward. Tam asked what Bruce called this evolving method. Bruce said it had no name, that he taught principles, not forms, adaptability instead of rigid technique. Tam joked that fighters preferred names, while Bruce spoke like a poet, but there was approval in his voice. Tam admitted he had come fearing Bruce had lost his roots to fame, but instead found deeper understanding. He shared a lesson from his own teacher, that martial artists fall into 3 stages: those who copy forms without understanding, those who understand but fear change, and the rare ones who understand deeply enough to evolve. Most never pass the 2nd stage.
Mastery, Tam said, is knowing when to preserve and when to release. He reminded Bruce that no matter how far a river flows, it still carries what it came from. Bruce promised never to forget his foundation. Tam warned him not to become so formless that structure disappeared entirely. Balance mattered. Then the old master walked toward the door, pausing once to look around the school. Without another word, he stepped into the fading afternoon light. Bruce stood silently after he left, something settling inside him. Later, he admitted the hardest struggle wasn't critics, it was doubt, wondering if growth meant loss. That day erased it. Years later, word spread that Tam subtly changed how he taught in Hong Kong, still strict but now open to adaptation, telling students that forms were beginnings, not limits. The meeting had never been about winning, it was about understanding. Tradition and evolution no longer enemies, but parts of the same journey, the spring and the river connected. Bruce hadn't abandoned Wing Chun, he had allowed it to live. And through that courage, both men grew, proving that real mastery isn't frozen preservation, it's respectful transformation.